Hello and welcome to BGOT, where we tell you all things Old Testament. I'm Kyle Melatti, and I'll be your news anchor for the day. We have a great show in store for you guys tonight, and stay tuned because we have an exclusive interview with Job later on. And now, roll the credits. And our first story for the day is going to be the story of Joseph, a young man who was the son of a shepherd born around 1786 BC, and we're going to be sharing the story of how he saves Egypt from famine. Let's go to our field correspondent.
Well, thank you, Kyle. I'm here in Egypt with Joseph. Thank you so much for being here, Joseph.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Joseph, you truly have a remarkable story, so please tell us exactly how you became the influential person you are here today.
Well, I started off as a slave when my brother sold me at a very young age, but then I rose through the ranks to become where I am now.
Well, Joseph, I heard you spent a little bit of time in jail. Can you elaborate on that for us?
Well, it was a scandal. I was innocent, I was framed, but it was all okay because I used my God-given gift to interpret dreams. Eventually the Pharaoh noticed me and appointed me to this high rank.
Wow. Well, I also heard that you saved Egypt from famine. So, what was your plan on saving Egypt, and how did you convince everyone that there would be a famine?
Oh, well, it all started when I interpreted the prisoner's dreams, which made the Pharaoh believe in me, and then he told me his dream. His dream was about Egypt going into a 7-year famine. And so I used my influence with the Pharaoh to save all of Egypt by putting all the grain and rice into storages that would last us through the horrible times.
Well, thank you very much for being here. It was nice to see you.
It's my pleasure.
Back to you, Kyle.
Thanks, Grant. Our next story is the story of Moses, where God tells Moses to save the people of Jerusalem from Egypt. This happened around 1391 to 1291, in that time period. Let's go to our correspondent in the field once again, Grant.
Thank you, Kyle. I'm here on sacred grounds where this strange bush is burning blue flames. Now, we have no idea what the cause of this is, although we do have one eyewitness that does know the secret to this supernatural phenomenon. Well, thank you very much for being here, Moses. Now, how did this come about?
Well, I stumbled upon this bush one day, and I realized that it was God speaking to me, and God was the one that made this bush burn blue.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, what did God say to you?
Well, when I came upon this bush, God told me that I was to save the Israelites from Egypt, from their slavery and from their persecution, and that I was the one to lead them into the promised land.
Wow, well, how do you plan on doing that?
Well, I plan on going back to Egypt, talking to the Pharaoh, and trying to negotiate with him as far as to whether or not he'll let the Israelites go. And if he doesn't, I have some things in store for him.
Well, that's very inspirational. Thank you, Moses.
Thanks, Grant. We interrupt this broadcast to go to the breaking news of the raging war between the Israelites and the Philistines on the border of Philistine and Elah. Let's go to our correspondent in the field right now, Grant.
Thanks again, Kyle. You see, I'm standing here on the border of Philistine and Elah, and war is about to be waged between the Israelites and Philistines. I have with me David, a soldier prepared to go into battle. David, how do you feel about today?
I feel eager and ready. God is with me.
You see, I heard that you're about to fight, and you volunteered to fight Goliath, a giant from the Philistines.
Well, he's the biggest of them all, but God said that I will triumph over him, and I believe in him that he will deliver me and the rest of the Israelites to defeat the Philistines.
All right, well, it was great talking to you, David, and good luck today.
Thank you. Good luck. May God.
Here we are walking up the mountain to see David fight the giant Goliath. It's a very long walk, but we're almost there.
And now, our interview with Jonah, a prophet of the Lord from around the 8th century. Let's go to our interviewer, Grant.
Well, thank you, Kyle. I'm on the shores of Nineveh right now with Jonah. Now, Jonah, please tell me what just happened.
Well, I've been in a giant whale for 3 days, and I just finally got spit up. Where am I?
Well, we're on the shores of Nineveh. Now, why were you in a whale? What circumstance caused you to get swallowed by a whale?
Well, I was sitting comfortably at home when God came and talked to me, and I was really excited. But then he told me I had to go to Nineveh, which is filled with sinners and murderers, and told me I had to go preach to them to tell them if they didn't repent that he would destroy the city. And I didn't want to get murdered or attacked, so I ran away and got into a ship. But then there was a giant storm, and the people on the ship threw me overboard, and I was swallowed by a giant fish.
Wow, that is one crazy story. So, are you planning on following God's orders now?
Well, I don't want to get swallowed again, so I guess I might as well. I'm not looking forward to it.
Well, it was great talking to you, John.
And now for our exclusive interview with Job. Hello and welcome to our interview with Job. Job, before we begin, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
So I understand that you're a wealthy man here in Uz. Would you care to explain how you became about that wealth?
Well, you see, I wasn't always this fortunate. God has blessed me very much, but He has tested me in the past. Just a while ago, I lost all 10 of my children, my flocks disappeared, I broke out in sores across my body, and all of my friends abandoned me. Though I kept my faith in God, and God rewarded me, so now I'm living as the wealthy man I am today.
So could you explain a little bit further as to why God did this, or what specifically happened while you were punished?
Well, from what I know, it was basically a bet between Satan and God. Satan believed that I wouldn't keep my faith in him if everything was taken away from me. But luckily I kept my faith in God, and God rewarded me.
Mm-hmm. So what were your feelings about God before He rewarded you?
Well, while I was going through the test, I was in utter confusion. I didn't know what was going on, but I just kept my faith in God, and after that everything seemed to follow, and I'm just so grateful that He's blessed me.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
And that's it for this broadcast. Until we see you again, remember to act justly, love tenderly, and walk humbly with God and each other.